Today I'm going to be installing a jet Sigma kit for my Suzuki GZ250. The first thing I want to do is turn my fuel off and let the bike run to get all the fuel out of the carburetor. Next thing I did was getting the bike jacked up and on stands. It's going to make it easier for me to at least take out my carb. And I went ahead and took off the plastic and the seat. So I recommend doing that. So next, I'm going to want to take this air box out. And to do that, I'm going to need to take out this screw. I'm going to need to take out the screws that hold all these fuses in. They go through the fender. I don't necessarily need to take the fuses out. I just need to be able to move this to the side to get the box out. There's going to be another screw on the bottom down here. I think the wiring's in the way right there. I'm going to take that out, and I'm also going to take the battery out. Okay, so I dropped my fuse box down here, and I also left out, obviously there's going to be like a hose clamp up here connecting the box or the air box to the carburetor. So just a long enough screwdriver, and you're going to unscrew it, and I should be able to just slide this air box out. Next, I'm going to want to disconnect everything connected to the carburetor. So there's a hose here, a hose on the bottom, the carburetor throttle, and there's going to be one more over here, and it's going to be the tank, basically your fuel. And there's also this line up here. I'm not sure what it is, but that needs to get disconnected too. Okay, so the throttle cable was probably the hardest to take out for me because I didn't see these two screws that attach this plate to it. So just take these two screws out, and getting these cables off is a lot easier than trying to get the cables out without that plate. I just didn't see it at first. Now it's very simple. And by doing that, you should still have your right adjustments. Now's probably the time to, make sure these are tight and adjusted. Obviously, you can't do that properly until the carb's on it, but like here, I can tighten that up. No big deal. Okay, so this is what the kit comes with. It comes with 3 main jets. I'll probably going with the 125. It comes with a pilot jet and some spacers, 2 drill bits. This is for, I haven't got here yet. I'm a little confused on this. Hopefully it's not an issue. So we're gonna figure that out. But first, I believe I take this top part off and install the spacers. So I'm gonna do that now. It comes with instructions. I wish it had a little bit more pictures on it. So that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, the next part is a little hard to explain. I'm gonna try my best. So this part was on first, and since it doesn't have an adjustable E-clip, I'm leaving that E-clip there, and I'm going to put 2 shims underneath of it. I might need to only put 1. It says to start out with 2 spacers. This piece was on top of this, and the whole thing slid down there and kind of clicked. I just pulled it out by that tab with needle nose pliers. So gonna remove that E-clip and put 2 spacers in between the E-clip and this bottom spacer. Leave that on top. Okay, so you can see I have 2 shims installed underneath my E-clip, the spacer back on top. I'm going to slide it back in there and position this back on top. And then I'm going to have to probably push this down with needle nose pliers. And that's all it took. So I slid it back in, positioned that just so, and pushed it in. I didn't need to apply too much force. I felt a click and it didn't really want to go any further, so I didn't force it. And I think that's done. Hopefully I'm going to put it back in the carb and hopefully everything works right. That looks a little bent, but hopefully that's fine. It will straighten out as soon as I put it in. I think it will. I think it's just, yeah, we're good. So I got my main spring back on, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my cover back on. So the little bend in it wasn't a problem. I think it was just the tension on this, that needle part and with the spring. So it slid back in pretty easily, and my gasket looks fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the cover back on. Okay, this next step took me way too long. All I had to do was remove these bottom screws. First 3 came fine, and of course, I stripped the last one. And I was using a decent quality screwdriver, but it stripped. So I had to go to Home Depot and buy a Dremel, the nice cutting wheel, and I also bought, for extra insurance, some diamond tip screwdrivers and cut it out so I could get a flat blade in there. Now it spins, so I'm gonna continue taking everything out. These are loose. I just need to pop this bowl off. Okay, I'm in the carb now. First thing you're going to want to do is remove your main jet, which is here. And mine came equipped with a 120. And the directions say if you have a 120, switch to a 125. So here's my 125 main jet. Next, you're going to want to remove this guy. This is your pilot jet. And your new one, you're going to remove the old one right here and replace with the new pilot jet right here. Next, you're going to want to locate your mixture screw, which is right here. Most carburetors are going to have a cap on top of this. And in the supplied kit, you're going to want to get your drill bit that it comes with. I believe it's 5/32, and you're going to want to drill out the cap. And then you're going to follow the directions what to do with the screw in there. And I'll go over that in just a second. Okay, with your mixture screw right here, you're going to want to tighten it down all the way until it seats fully. Not tight, just so it seats. Tighten it down. Then you're going to want to unscrew it 2.5 turns. This can be adjusted afterwards. But that's what the directions say for now. I'll update if I find an issue later or after it goes on the bike. So I went ahead and put the bottom back on. Just make sure to tighten the screws in a crisscross pattern. Don't go too tight, don't strip them. Before that, I sprayed everything down with carb cleaner and made sure I got all of the metal pieces out of the carb, cleaned up everything. As far as I know, everything is ready to go back on the bike. Now there's 2 modifications that they say you can do. One is to clip the slide spring, and one is to drill a hole on the, vacuum port I believe the backing port's right here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see what it's like before I do that. It says it's for, this mod is for race use. It may adversely affect other throttle positions and drivability. And also up here it says adversely affect low speed drivability. That's not what I want. I just wanted a little bit more oomph from my bike. Throttle response was fine. I can always do these mods afterwards if I'm not happy with it, but I didn't want to do them first before I put the new jets in and see what it was like on the bike. So, ready for install. Everything should be, you know, the opposite of removal. So, hopefully there are no issues with that.